were talking about Misfits yesterday, and I saw Circle Jerks are coming. Did you ever get into Circle Jerks when you were younger?
I definitely listened to some of their stuff. I wasn't like deep into it, but
yeah.
I know this song.
Live Fast, Die Young. When I was 11, I heard Group Sex, which was their first album, and I thought it was the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. I was 14 songs in 15 minutes. I was into metal, but most of my friends were into hardcore and punk and stuff like that. So I had like I was the oldest in my family, so I didn't have any older brothers to get me hip to stuff or older sisters. So my friends with older brothers were getting them into like Clapton and Floyd and like classic rock type stuff. My friends, though, like my peer group, were mostly into like hardcore and punk. So it wasn't really my thing. I was a drummer, and in my mind, I wanted to get better at my instrument, and punk wasn't doing that. But that wasn't the point of punk. They were not trying to master their instruments. That was the furthest thing that wasn't the important part, but it was the important part for me. So punk didn't speak to me in the same way that did some of my friends. They were listening to like 7 Seconds and Black Flag and, But Group Sex was funny. And Keith Morris is the guy in Circle Jerks. He founded Black Flag and then got way into coke and speed and left. And then 3 or 4 guys later, of course, Henry Rollins fronts Black Flag. But Circle Jerks are on a 40th anniversary tour. He mentions in that song there, I don't want to live to be 34. I don't want to live to be 44. Keith Morris blew past all that, and he's 66 now. It's like when The Who said, I hope I die before I get old. That's obviously a sentiment that in your younger years you go, yeah, man, but then you just keep hanging out. You don't go anywhere. So that Circle Jerks show might be really fun. The 40th anniversary of their second album. I mean, I was 11 when Group Sex came out, so that would have been like 80 or 81. I don't remember what the second album is. So if you're into Circle Jerks and you want to see a 66-year-old Keith Morris flopping around the stage, they're going to do the House of Blues on March the 30th. It's not that far off. Wild in the Streets was that second album. They're celebrating the 40th anniversary of that album. Of course, they had to rebook the tour a couple of times because of, say it with me, the coronavirus. But, Circle Jerks were another band. We were talking about, I think we got on Misfits and Agent Orange yesterday because of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games.
Oh, and he was in the news because he said that he was...
Snapped his femur in half.
I'll go until I can't anymore, and then a day later, boom.
Yeah, that's right. So friends of mine that were skating and were into all that stuff, Dead Kennedys, and I loved the Bad Brains, but I don't know why. That just sounded different to me. I wasn't necessarily listening to like a lot of this other stuff. But I think that Circle Jerk show would be a fun show. Alan, is Poundcake going to kick in for Trump's plane fund?
Why would I pitch in for his and I'm not even pitching for mine?
You have a plane fund?
If someone wants to start one, yeah. And have me not kick in?
Well, you were a Trump guy, so people are asking me if you're going to...
I'm a Trump guy from afar. I'll throw up my fist and say that y'all are trying to cancel him for no reason. There are good people on both sides in any situation. You don't understand, but I'm not going to donate money. I don't even give money to church, and that's Jesus. Why would I give money to Trump?
Well, he's Jesus for a lot of people. That's why when people say
Jesus.
When people say Meg is a cult, that's because he's just like a TV evangelist. He's always working the grift. He borrowed a dude's plane to go from New Orleans to Mar-a-Lago, and they had engine trouble mid-flight.
Oh, my God.
So they had to get him back to Louisiana, and he got another flight. But this is really a godsend for him, because he goes, hey, why should I be dealing with this? You guys need to send me money so I can get my own plane.
God, it's just great to have rich friends where you just...
No, not rich friends. Millions of dummies who will send you money.
No, I'm not even talking about...
Because they think you're a real smart guy.
I'm not talking about the sending money part. Anyone can start a GoFundMe.
He's asking the public for money.
I understand that, but he also has friends that are like, oh, yeah, Trump, just take my jet. What are you doing? You can't fly commercial. You're our president. You're our ex-president. And I know you won the election.
Yeah, but then they give you some busted-ass plane.
Okay,
You want
but
engine trouble over the Gulf of Mexico? No thanks.
I rather not. I rather have engine trouble on a private jet than engine trouble on a commercial airline.
Well, either way, you
At least
could
I
fall
die
right
privately.
Die privately. No, you would die very publicly. You would just be. You would have no one else with you on the plane. I don't know how many people were on the plane, but
You go out with a bang. And like, listen,
Yeah.
he died on his private jet. Nice. Like, you still died on a private jet. That's
Sure.
a very privileged way to die.
Oh, we know.
Oh wait, didn't I die on a private jet?
oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's a very privileged way to go. And I'm up there with the icons. Kobe Bryant had a helicopter. I had a private jet.
Right. Should I play when he died in a plane crash?
I will never say no.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to C-29F. We've got one person on the plane today. It's his private plane. He's a lottery-winning douchebag who nobody wants to talk to.
Just shut up and fly the plane.
I'd like to say goodbye to my wife and my children. I'm going to send this thing.
That's how he laughs when other people die. That time it was him dying.
Doing the Lord's work.
And he could not have been happier. Except I will never not hear now, there's a fundamental flaw in the bit where I'm doing an overhead announcement, but he's the only one on the plane.
It's still funny.
That
It's a
still
funny way
sticks
to
in
do
my
it,
craw
yeah.
now.
No, but I mean, you still got to do the overhead announcement. That's the bit.
I know.
That is the bit.
I know.
So it's
That's the underpinning of the... Right. So anyway, he's
but
taken...
the reveal is when you find out he's the only one on the plane.
Trump's asking people for money. He
he'll
wants a
get it.
plane. Send him some money.
I'm telling you, man, the type of pool, like, it is a cult, but, like, you got to admire the type of power this dude has. Like, he went from everyone's getting deposed. He was getting deposed. His kids were getting deposed. Anyone associated with the organization's getting deposed. And all of a sudden, it got pushed back. Like, what do you mean it got pushed back? This lady
Well,
was,
that happens all the time, though.
not like this.
It does. I think that's one of those things where that people are reading more into it than there is.
The prosecutors were stepping down. I'm like, this goes deep. This is like Illuminati type deep. Like,
Well, yeah, he's been this guy for 40 years
And also,
and always escaped prosecution or whatever. So it's like that's not new to the proceedings.
whatever.
why doesn't he already have a plane? That's what I'm curious about.
Because he had Air Force One.
Because he's a fake rich.
He did have Trump. He did have a
Air
Trump
Force
plane.
One is not his plane. No, he had a plane that got grounded. They just put it out at the airport. It never flew. He used it as a billboard. It didn't go anywhere. They put it out at Newark, or they put it out at JFK, left on the tarmac.
How selfish! You're just taking a terminal. And we're like, there's nothing open. Stupid Trump plane right here.
Yeah.
Smart marketing, though.
Oh yeah, he's a real genius.
He is.
He was on a podcast, and they asked him what he thought was going to happen long term with this Ukraine-Russia thing. Did you hear this clip?
I only heard him talk about YMCA.
The gay national anthem.
Yes, and he's like, but it gets people up and moving, and he's not wrong.
YMCA is a great song.
Yeah.
Young man.
You
What is
wouldn't
that?
want that to sing along?
What is that Kermit the Frog thing you were just doing?
Young man.
Have you ever heard YMCA? I know you just gave me the first two words, but it didn't sound like the melody that I've become accustomed to. What's the rest of it?
I don't remember all the lyrics, but
You just remember Young Man and then the bridge, yeah.
If you need something.
Well, anyway, this guy, this was like a UFC podcast, and the guy goes, what do you think's going to happen with Ukraine and Russia? Trying to avail himself of Trump's genius brain, right? This was his answer.
Playing right into their hands, green energy. The windmills, they don't work. They're too expensive. They kill all the birds. They ruin your landscapes. And yet the environmentalists love the windmills. And I've been preaching this for years. The windmills, and I had them way down.
Yeah. Boy, nobody misses that. Even if you're a fan, you certainly don't miss that.
Man, they're both old. They just both need to go. I don't.
This guy sounds like he fell off a ski lift with no helmet.
I can't stand either of them.
So that was literally his response
To what do you think's going to
think
happen long term between Ukraine and Russia? Which, listen, would be speculation on anybody's part, but he doesn't know anything. And so he's like, scan the greatest hits. His idea, by the way, was that we should just put his idea, when somebody else asked him, was that we should mark our fighter jets with China's flag and then bomb Russia and then just say China did it and then sit back and watch them fight.
It's funny, but it's
like
really
a Wile E.
not.
Coyote cartoon.
Right, yeah.
I mean, don't planes have transponder signals?
Of course
As
they
I
do.
understand it,
I'm
you can
sure they
track
do.
them
I'm
to the
sure-
planes.
yeah.
People just don't go, I guess that's a Chinese plane. It's got
it's got the
decals.
flag. Yeah.
It's got decals all over it. Pretty wild. But company after company pulling out of Russia. McDonald's says that the closures of their stores in Russia will cost them $50 million a month.
Oh, they got it. They'll be okay.
McDonald's?
Yeah, they got
Well, there's no company that can lose $50 million a month for a long period of time.
McDonald's can.
You think so?
Yeah, they can.
Adidas has halted their operations.
Now that is going to have an effect. Once the Russian people can't get Adidas, they're going to be very, very upset with
The
Putin.
millions in tracksuit sales alone
I didn't think about
is
that.
staggering.
I was like, why do Russians need Adidas so bad?
Tracksuits.
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, they need those tracksuits.
Oh, boy.
So stupid.
It's true. You're right. McDonald's goes, hey, listen, man, we can absorb whatever. Adidas?
Adidas needs that money, but also it's going to be effective in getting the people riled up against Putin.
McDonald's will close those stores temporarily, but they will keep paying all of their employees in Russia. They have 62,000 employees in Russia. So they will lose $50 million a month, but they're still going to pay the employee. And this is one of these situations where they have to do it. I mean, just for PR purposes. You can't go, we're going to shut them down. Good luck. Starbucks is doing the same thing. They're going to shut their stores, but people... The only companies basically that haven't pulled out of Russia so far are pharmaceutical companies. They're like, look, it's a global economy. What do you want? Listen, this is all like posturing anyway, these companies that are pulling out there. You know, it's like when all those companies in the immediate wake of January 6th, they like stopped their donations
Tell you what,
to all the like MAGA traders, and then very quietly, about a month later, started cutting them checks again.
If I'm Umbro, this is the chance. This is how you make your comeback. You're like, oh, you can't get your Adidas tracksuits. Remember Umbro?
That's right. Esprit is mounting their offensive. General Electric says that they will suspend their operations. Yum Brands, which owns KFC and Pizza Hut, said that they will close their KFC restaurants in Russia, and they will close their Pizza Hut restaurants. Pepsi will not sell beverages anymore. Coca-Cola. Burger King has 800 Russian stores that they're going to shut down.
Only 800? I mean, Russia is a really big state. I mean, big country.
Well, they have 800 stores. Pizza Hut only has 50 locations in Russia. Well, it's because Russian pizza's so good. They don't need all that competition. There's only 70 KFC restaurants.
And all these places ain't got no seasoning.
Well, listen, you know, my favorite fast food place is Wendy's. And they are way ahead of the curve on this.
How many Wendy's do they have in Russia?
Well, they closed all the Wendy's in 2014. So take that.
I tell you what.
Oh, they were really ahead
they
of
saw
this.
the writing on the wall. They're like, we're done here.
I tell you what, the war would be ended if Russia or if Wendy's roasted Russia like they do everybody else on Twitter.
Yeah,
Why
right,
don't
the
they-
world would be ended.
Yeah.
Putin would see that and he'd be like, oh, you think so, you red-headed little lady?
Red-headed slut.
Your body will never be frozen.
What? But they should listen. It's after what seems so intractable between the Major League Baseball Players Union and the owners. All of a sudden, they've come to some agreement.
Yeah.
Why did they put those two groups into what's going on overseas?
You think your fries are crispy? Wait till I get done with nuclear weapon.
The Wendy's spokesperson insisted the decision had nothing to do with politics. They had 8 locations in Russia. So it's not like they were taking a massive part of their portfolio and pulling it. It just sounds like they couldn't It just sounds like they couldn't get a foothold there. They were going to open a couple hundred over the next 6 years back in 2014. But they said that there wasn't enough interest in that.
They wanted to focus on America anyway. America first. That's what Wendy says. But not like that way. Not like the bad way. But like,
fast food, more than any other U.S. import, continues to be a symbol overseas. I wonder if they have like Auntie Anne's or like some of those kind of B-level franchisees. You know, I wonder if they have if there's like a single Wetzel's Pretzels in all of Russia.
Yeah, just like when we went to Jamaica, I was so surprised that KFC was the busiest in the world, and it didn't even look busy when we drove past it either.
Yeah, but it just never stops. It's just a constant.
It's the busiest in the
flow.
world.
That's what they were saying. That's what the driver
yeah.
said. He said the one right outside the Jamaican airport.
And there's
well,
no
I
way
assume that was just like a little bit of like folksy tourist
Okay,
talk, though.
well maybe, but they love their jerk chicken. Why would if that's the thing then?
Well, they like fried chicken too. I mean,
It's KFC.
yeah, it's a novelty there too.
Yeah, that's what he said, and I could believe it. Black folks love their chicken.
The busiest KFC in the world is the Beijing railway station.
You gotta go find that driver and tell him the truth.
That Jamaican cab driver, you're never going to believe this. He was giving you a fact because you were a tourist. He was trying to get you over there. His brother was probably the franchise owner.
Maybe.
Me brother. I got to take a break. If you want to text for something, 35192 to do that, AlanCoxShow.com. You can watch. And we'll be back after these.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free